All right, we're here. Good morning, everyone. Hope you're having a fantastic day. It is, what's today? Monday, June 6th, 17th. I think it's been about 3 weeks since the last little coffee. Hope you're all having a great Monday, a great last 3 weeks. I've been busy. Life's been hectic, but that's okay. I don't mind. Hectic life is always good. Louis Philippe, good morning. Daver, good morning. All the regulars are here. I have no clue if my programs are going to continue working. Anytime you leave for 3 weeks, inevitably, nothing works. But so far, it looks like everything's working. You may notice tea today. We were at the World Series of Poker, so we were on the coffee relatively hard. And now this week, we're not going to eat much food. I actually have a few events where I kind of need to go and eat food. So we're not going to be on a complete hardcore fast, but we're going to try to eat either blended green smoothies in the morning and vegetable broth for the next week. We'll see how it goes. Monday to Friday, we'll definitely do it. Saturday, Sunday, maybe not, because that's family time. And with family time, if you don't eat, James doesn't eat, and we need James to eat. So, green tea this week. Maybe other kinds of tea. We'll see. How was Las Vegas? Well, that's what we're going to talk about today. We don't have a whole lot to talk about. I have no agenda, as you see. Here's the agenda for today. Completely blank. And we're excited for this. So the World Series of Poker has gone well enough so far. Actually, my first trip to Vegas was primarily to play the World Poker Tour at Aria. They have a $10,000 tournament there, and a World Poker Tour tournament, the Tournament of Champions at Aria. And then also a $10,000 World Series event, and also a $5,000 World Series event. So I also randomly played a $2,000 tournament at Aria. We took 6th place in that, which was a little bit better than a men cash. I think I got like $5K or something like that. And then I bricked everything else besides the World Series or the World Poker Tour Tournament of Champions. So that is good. And we ended up taking, I think, 9th place, which is fine. I'm kind of, regretful is not the right word, but I'm a little bit frustrated by the 9th place because when there were 15 people left, I was 2nd in chips. And to take 9th place after being 2nd in chips is pretty rough. I lost one big hand where I either played it great or played it horribly. I probably played it horribly. The German kids I'm friends with said I probably should have played it differently, so presumably I played it horribly. Why are you going to discuss it? Because it's embarrassing. And basically I ended up making a big fold where I folded off half my chips. I think I had like 400,000. I ended up losing 400,000 to the guy who won the tournament. In a spot where I hero call the river on like 80% of the cards that could come on the river, but I got one of those 20% of the cards, and he still went all in, and I folded. So I needed to not get hit by one of the bad 20% of the deck. And the problem is even then, when the bad 20% of the deck comes, I could still have had the best hand. So it's always annoying to fold in those spots, but I think it's probably right in the tournament structure. Because either the 20% doesn't come, I call, probably win like 90% of the time, and win the tournament. If the 20% does come, sometimes it goes check, and I win. And also, if he does bet and I fold, I still have half my stack and I just sneak into the money like I did. So get a free sneak into the money, and then as soon as we snuck into the money, we got it all in for about 15 big blinds. Button raise, Tony Dunce called small blind. I had ace-9 suited. I shoved big blind. Tony Dunce called king-jack offsuit, and I was out. Got to win the all-ins. You love the video blog. Good. It'd be great to see more of them. Well, we do them whenever I travel to play poker. We have new poker coaching and float the turn members. Welcome. I'm glad that you all are here. Great. Happy that everyone's having a good time. I did make a video blog of this. You can find it at YouTube. Go to jonathanlittlepoker.com/YouTube, and it should be one of the first few videos there. I documented it. Someone actually mentioned, in the World Poker Tour Tournament of Champions, we went from 15,000 chips to 400,000 chips without really mentioning any hands. What's going on? It's like, he won some hands. I don't know. You have to realize, I am not a professional video blogger, believe it or not. I'm a professional poker player, so poker playing comes first, and inevitably, sometimes we forget to make video blogs, but that's okay. We did our best. It still ended up being 17 minutes long or something like that. But it was fun. Am I playing the main event? Of course I am. We're actually going to be giving away 1% times 3 to 3 different people of my World Series main event. So look out for that. That will be coming very, very soon. We've given away a bunch of entries to random events. We gave away, I think, 3 entries to the Colossus, 3 entries to... 5 entries to the Big 50. I gave away 1% of all my World Series action. So far, that's worth $0. Congrats to whoever won that. And we're giving away 3 times 1% to my World Series main event. So we'll be doing that soon. Make sure you follow me on Twitter at Jonathan Little, or make sure you're signed up for my email list. Am I playing the main event? Absolutely. Is it true that the main event is as soft as they say? Absolutely. Probably softer than they say. Let's see. Matt says you're enjoying the new Cash Game Masterclass. That's only available for a tiny select group of people, but I'm glad you're enjoying it. Wanted to get your feedback. If you have any feedback, please let us know. I have a gigantic Cash Game course. It's coming out soon. It's going to be only available as part of Poker Coaching Premium, which is going to have essentially infinite content. If you want infinite content from me and all the coaches over at pokercoaching.com, stay tuned for that. That'll be available. We're supposed to launch it next week. Maybe it'll take 2 weeks. I don't know. We'll see. Let's see. Drop from a $7 game to a $2 game to relax and watch this. Well, good. Let's see. Yeah, 2 runs, no cash. They basically broke even. It's always good when you cash the $15,000 tournament. And the Tournament of Champions is great because the World Poker Tour adds $150,000 to the prize pool. So I got a minimum cash. They paid 10 places. And I took 9, so it was a minimum. But the minimum was $35,000 on 15,000 buy-ins. It was actually 2.3 buy-ins or something like that. Which is another reason you really just want to make sure you sneak into the money when possible. Because it's not like a regular min cash, where a regular min cash is 1.4 buy-ins, right? If min cash was like 24K or 22K, I just would have never folded any river in that big hand because getting in the money is not quite as relevant. Whenever it is 2.5 buy-ins or something like that, it does become way more relevant. What are my thoughts on entering on day 2C of the main event? Sure, do whatever you want. In theory, you want to enter as late as possible if you think you are bad at poker. Because every hand you play, you make money if you're good, and every hand you play if you're bad, you lose money. So, if you think that you are at a disadvantage, you want to play on the last day. Or, if you're thinking from a monetary point of view, if you think you're going to make more money doing your regular life stuff, or you're going to be happier doing your regular life stuff instead of playing the main event, then you should be buying in late as well. Like, let's say you're a business person and you make $500 an hour. Well, you're probably not going to make $5K a day. Well, maybe you actually make for the main event. But let's say you make $10,000 a day. You should probably skip day 1 of the main event because you're not going to make $10,000 in equity on average. Of course, sometimes you will, sometimes you won't. But that's that. Obviously, you can lose if you bust early, right? But that should not really be your thought process. A lot of people think, I could lose, therefore I should be buying in late so I make a deeper run. But that's not really that relevant. What's more relevant is... Am I making money, right? And imagine if every time you played day 1, you went from 1 starting stack to 1.4 starting stacks. Let's just pretend. Which I don't think is actually that insane for soft tournaments. If you go from 1 to 1.4 on average, obviously sometimes you're going to have 5, sometimes you're going to have 0, etc., etc. If you do that, let's say a $10,000 tournament means you make $4,000 in equity that day. So do you make more than $4,000 in your day-to-day life? Maybe you do, maybe you don't. Or maybe that day's special for you. Maybe you have something going on. Anyway, I'll be playing on day 1B. It takes an especially fun degenerate to play on the 4th of July. I know a lot of poker pros like to go celebrate the 4th of July on the 4th of July. So, seems like the play. I have a few friends playing the 4th of July who do not play poker normally. And a lot of them are the type of players you want to be playing with. So, I'm going to be doing it on the 4th of July. We're actually having a breakfast for the poker coaching members on July 5th. So if you're a poker coaching member, I think it's already booked up, but send an email. We can maybe get you in. When is Modern Poker Theory coming out? It's been delayed. The problem is that we had about, 300 images or something ridiculous. We're trying to consolidate those. We're trying to get those into the right format. It's not on me anymore. My work was done. I made my deadline. Other people don't make their deadlines, though. It's supposed to be out in the middle of July, but we will see. Why do you keep losing? You're probably not playing very well. You got to play better. What do you think are 3 reasons competent players lose cash? Well, they play poorly. The problem is maybe you're not as competent as you think you are. If you lose all the time, you're just not very good. What are my thoughts when Hoyt busted? You got 40 big blinds in a tournament with 6s versus aces. I don't know how Hoyt busted. It probably went raise 3-bet all in. It's probably fine. Maybe it went raise, call, all in. It's probably fine with 6s. I don't know. I wasn't there. Hoyt likes the all-in shoves. So I don't know. You can lose sometimes. What is Poker Coaching Premium? Imagine regular poker coaching. For all of you who are members of PokerCoaching.com, or if you're not, go there and get a completely free trial membership. Imagine we have quizzes. We already have about 500 on Poker Coaching. Imagine more quizzes. I know all of you love the quizzes. Many of you have gone through all of them multiple times. And imagine more quizzes every month. Also, we've been doing a bunch of the free webinars, completely free webinars for everyone, with Matt Affleck, Alex Fitzgerald, Evan Jarvis. We're going to be having those. Some of those will be part of Poker Coaching Premium. So we won't be doing as many for free each month, but that'll be okay. Also, I've been doing lots of work with other people, right? We've been working with Brad Owen, the Poker Personality of the Year. I've been doing some stuff with Fedor Holtz. These people are going to have a little bit of content in Poker Coaching Premium as well. And also, we're going to start releasing a lot of the work that I put out each month just there for Poker Coaching Premium members. It's going to be a huge database of content. So basically, whatever you want to learn, you can find it. You all wanted a cash game course. We have a 29-part video series that explains everything you need to know about cash games. So that's going to be in there. Anyway, it's lots of stuff. Be patient. It's coming soon. How fast does coaching normally impact students? Very, very quickly. One of my students, who's been with me for a while, just took, I think, 12th place in the seniors tournament. I was hoping he'd win. Would have been good marketing. But 12th place for him. He wins his main event almost every year in various leagues. So anyway, sometimes it goes very quickly. Sometimes it takes time. But I mean, you have to understand, in high variance events like tournaments, right? You may get good and still have no results for a while, or you may be terrible and have great results. So, in general, people get better faster if they're actively trying to learn. Some people aren't actively trying to learn. I can usually suss out those people somewhat quickly, and they're not my students very long because I don't want to coach people who don't actually want to improve. But most people who want to learn get better very quickly. I had someone come to me recently who's just a purely recreational player. He was not good at all. And since he came to me, he went from losing every tournament to he's already had 2 cashes and $10,000 buy-in tournaments over like the last 6 months just by, he's playing 1 tournament a month, and it's because he learned. He did what I told him to do. He played a lot, got a lot of volume in. We went through a lot of hand histories. We saw his problems. We fixed his problems. And now he's playing a million times better. So really, just depends on how much you're willing to change and how much you are willing to listen. Let's see. You started playing small stakes. Is it better to learn to beat cash games or tournaments? Cash games in the beginning, almost certainly. Do I have a ritual before I play poker? Make sure I get a lot of sleep. Make sure I get a lot of sleep. If you're interested in PokerCoaching.com or Poker Coaching Premium, email support@PokerCoaching.com. Maybe there's a way for us to get you signed up. If you are a new member of PokerCoaching.com, what I suggest you do is go back to the very earliest quiz and the very earliest homework challenge. The homework challenges are great. That is by far the most value of the site. I do know most of you don't actually do the homework because it's hard work. Homework's not easy. And it's worth doing. Go back to the very beginning. They kind of build on each other. If you don't go through the very first homework challenge, you're probably not going to get too far, right? Because they are difficult. They build on each other. But go back to the very first homework challenge and start there and work your way forward. Watch part 1 of every homework video. Basically, I'm going to give the question initially, pause it, and do the homework. Do the homework on your end and then see my answer. And then if you feel like it, go through the answers of the other students and find ones that look like yours, and you'll get essentially critiques on your answer in that way. Maduka, welcome. Sounds like you. I was actually not thinking of you whenever I said that, but yes, it kind of does. I think you had success before you came to me, though. So anyway, Let's see. We have a hand from Fred. In the big blind, 9-5 offsuit, 5.5 big blinds, 1 limper, small blind shove 6. Based on the odds, should you have called? No, absolutely not. 9-5 is terrible. Easy, 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 easy fold. All right, so what else happened in the World Series of Poker? I played a turbo tournament, $10,000 buy-in, turbo bounty. They started with 600 big blinds, and I was surprised to see at almost every table, almost every 8-handed table, I think it was 8-handed. Yeah, almost at every 8-handed table, someone busted in the first hour. Now, a starting stack started at 600 big blinds, and by the end of the first hour, I think it was down to 200 big blinds. I don't know how these players are busting. Like an eighth of the field, literally an eighth of the field, busted within an hour. And some of them kept saying, yeah, it's a turbo, you got to gamble. But really, you don't. I think a lot of people incorrectly assume that a turbo tournament means you must play many more hands or play more aggressively or something like that. And that is a big, big mistake. Really, you just want to make sure that you are always actively thinking, what am I looking at in this exact scenario? What is happening in this hand? And, what's happening in future hands doesn't matter. But the idea that the blinds are going up soon is not a reason to play insanely different. So definitely do not go nuts in turbo tournaments. Same things happened in 6-handed tournaments, right? A lot of people say, what should you do differently in 6-handed tournaments? And the answer is nothing. Just very simple way to think about it is say you're playing 9-handed, but the first 3 people fold. And that's it. Play regular poker. But you will find that a lot of people drastically over-adjust to something that doesn't even exist, and it causes them to make huge problems. So don't bust early in tournaments for no real reason. Let's see. V says, thanks for all the books and videos. You're welcome. You had your first cash in a large field tournament, and you scooped up money at the cash game tables. Good job, good work. That's what we like to hear. Have you ever dreamed about a poker victory? No. I don't really have very vivid dreams for some reason. Maybe I need to... I wish I had vivid dreams, but I don't. Usually in my dreams, someone kills me. Let's see. You seem to do well cashing in small tournaments, but when you move to bigger tournaments, you're not able to last long enough. Well, first off, lasting is irrelevant. Your goal is to win, not get minimum cashes. Getting minimum cashes is not a sign of success or good play. And also, first off, maybe you haven't played very many big tournaments. Maybe you are playing against better players, right? It's very easy to win when your opponents don't know what they're doing, but when everybody knows what they're doing to some extent, it gets way more difficult. Let's see. Make a joint course. We've tried this, we've thought about this, but it is difficult to get people together at the same time, pretty much. What do you recommend for coaching for regs? Take a lot of notes on your hands, figure out what you're doing wrong, figure out what the best players in the games are doing, etc., etc. Really, you want to figure out what people are doing that you are not doing that is allowing them to be successful. And realize the most loose, flashy, aggressive player is not the most successful almost always. Every time I talk to one of my students, he's always saying something like, oh man, this guy's playing every hand, he's crazy, and he wins all the time. But no, he doesn't. You just see the big winning sessions. You don't see all the times he shows up, loses, and then he's done, right? So understand that. But really, you want to figure out what the best players in your games are doing and how they are beating the opponents. Content on another site was boring. Well, you have to understand, everyone's content is not for everyone, right? I purposely tried to be on lots of formats, right? Because I know some people like reading books, some people like audiobooks, some people like videos, some people like a little coffee, right? And I try to be everywhere so that no matter how people like to consume the content, they can. That said, some people still don't like me, and that's okay. I don't mind. I don't like everyone, and you shouldn't like everyone. So, find someone who resonates with you, find someone who helps you, and that will go a long way to helping you improve your skills at anything. Anytime you're trying to get better at anything in life, find a coach, find someone who has good results, and find someone who can explain their thoughts in a reasonable manner that does not put you to sleep. So am I saying it's better to get knocked out early making solid plays than hanging around and cashing? No, V, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that you need to play fundamentally sound, whatever that means. Sometimes you need to collect a min cash, like in my World Poker Tour Tournament of Champions. It made a lot of sense to hang out and collect a min cash there, right? But that's when there were 12 people left. That's not when there were 88 people left, right? Early in a tournament, you're basically playing a deep stack cash game for the most part. And sometimes you bust. You only need to really be overly concerned with getting in the money once you're down to 20% of the field or 25% of the field. In general, in tournaments, you don't want to be going for thin value bets for lots of chips, because one big failed hand loses you a lot of chips. But the idea of I'm just going to sit here and play super nitty and collect the min cash doesn't really work, because even if you're like trying to min cash, you may only min cash like 30% of the time, and then you just completely sacrifice the chance of winning. I visited New Encore in Boston. I have not. I don't know. I am not going to anytime soon because life is hectic, but I think it should be very nice. James, I'm making a video about what James here is mentioning. Are pre-flop charts much different for cash games and tournaments? It depends on the scenario, James. Take this like a basic scenario. Say the stacks in your table are 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70 big blinds, and you have 40. If you just look at a chart that says how to play 40 big blind stacks, at a cash game, you're going to make egregious blunders. Now you may say, well, is there a tournament chart for that? It depends on the position of every stack at the table. If it is literally 50, 60, 70 behind you, that's going to be very different than if it's 70, 60, 50 behind you. Or it's very different than if it's 10, 20, 70 behind you, right? And it's very, very important for you to realize that poker is not easy. A lot of people want to make poker seem like a super easy game by providing you charts. I'm actually making a video, like I said, for YouTube about this. Someone just came out with reshove charts on their app. And first off, the idea of a push-fold app that works when you're playing 20 big blinds deep is asinine. You have to understand that you need to you have to play fundamentally sound if you want to succeed. And I am not trying to teach you to play poorly. Some people don't care if you play poorly. In fact, they want you to play poorly. Most people do. But when you're playing 20 big blinds deep, from small blind and button, you should definitely have a limp, shove, or fold strategy. 3 options, not 2, not shove or fold. If you only shove or fold, you're leaving a ton of money on the table. From cutoff button and all the other positions, you should have a min-raise, shove, or fold strategy. And if you're not doing that, you're leaving a ton of money on the table. Now, you could also have a limp, min-raise, shove, or fold strategy from all positions, but that actually doesn't give you much more equity than using 3 options. And 3 is way easier to implement than 4. So, play the strategy that works well. Would you rather learn to play poorly using an easy strategy, shove or fold, or would you rather do a little bit more study and actually make money from poker? I'd rather you all make money from poker. So, don't be lazy. Don't just use charts blindly. Do you ever just go card dead? Yes, you go card dead a lot. You're going to be card dead most of the time you're playing. This is not coffee. No, it's not. This is fasting week. We're going to have vegetable broth and tea this week. Yum, yum. Maduka says, yeah, you had some success earlier, but I made you 1,000% better poker player. Yeah, well, good. That's the goal. You've definitely improved a lot. What's the website again? Pokercoaching.com is my website. We do have a push-fold app, by the way. I mean, you have to understand, shove-fold charts are useful when you have something like 12 big blinds or less. Even then, though, you still need to be limping or min-raising sometimes. It is okay to min-raise and then fold. So many people just want to follow a chart. And listen, if you just want to follow a chart, you're going to be a loser at poker. And charts are useful when everyone is folded to you, presuming the charts were designed to be fundamentally sound. And you have to understand, stuff like a shove-fold chart is designed to be fundamentally sound, assuming you have 2 options, shove or fold. But you don't have 2 options. Shove, min-raise, limp, fold. You have all the options available to you. And not using them essentially means you're playing a game that your opponents are not playing. Also, people love calling ranges. Calling ranges are not a good idea either. Charts become, I'm not going to say completely obsolete, but quite obsolete when someone else has acted. Because you don't know how your opponents are playing, right? Like imagine someone's a super net and they raise only aces pre-flop, and then you just follow a reshove chart and you shove, and they call you with their aces. You just lit all your money on fire, right? You don't want to light all your money on fire. So you have to make sure you're paying attention to the opponents. It's very, very important. If you don't pay attention to your opponents, you're just going to lose all your money, and blindly following charts is a great, great way to lose all your money. What was my average buy when I started playing professionally? When I started playing professionally, I was playing $200 buy-in sit-and-goes online. And again, I don't really know when I went pro. Don't know when I went pro because does that mean when I quit college? When I quit college, I think I had about $100,000 to my name playing $200 buy-in tournaments. Sit-and-goes, really. Does studying with Flopzilla make a big change in your game? It depends on if you are playing well or not already, right? If you're already playing well, it's not going to help you all that much. If you're not playing well, it'll help a lot. It is always insightful to see like how people connect with various boards. I think that is definitely very useful. Are you losing value playing? I mean, I'm not exactly sure what this question is, Steven. It depends on your scenario, right? Let's see. If your opponents are oblivious, what does balance matter? It doesn't. If your opponents are oblivious, balance is irrelevant. Is balance handled by adding more bluffs to your range? And when do you randomize? What does randomize mean? You'd never want to just play completely random hands. Your bluffs always need to have a purpose. Usually your bluffs have no showdown value, or your bluffs have blocker value. One of the two, usually. And also, if your opponents are oblivious, that doesn't mean that they are calling stations or maniacs, and they may be super nits, right? If your opponents are super nits, you should have a lot of bluffs in your range. And like way fewer value bets. So it's not just as easy as... Again, this is Tal. This is a question where you're trying to make poker sound easy. And poker is not easy. Let's see. Edward, I have no clue what you're asking. Go play poker tournaments. They're all the same. What's my favorite trophy? I like this one. This is a nice trophy. I won that at Foxwoods. I won a World Poker Tour tournament there, and they gave me that trophy. It's a sweet one. It's a pedestal with a globe on the top of it. It's been your dream to play the World Series main event. You won $12,500 through a step tournament. Money was credited to your account. You can take it or play with it. What was my biggest shot early on? I didn't take shots. I never took shots. I think shots are very, very detrimental to your bankroll. I discussed this. You can just search Jonathan Little, why not to play satellites or something like that. I'm sure it'll come right up. But no, I never took shots. Taking shots is a good way to never be able to move up. Like imagine you just took $12,500 and started playing instead of $6 games, $50 games or $30 games, where you work your way up, right? Maybe you take a few months off from your job and really devote yourself to poker. And you actually see if you can make a career out of it. Whenever you take shots, you're essentially giving up potential long-term returns for an experience now. And that's fine if you want experiences now, right? Like you say it's a dream, right? I never had dreams. Like I said, we talked about that earlier. I don't really have dreams. I want what is achievable. And I know how to develop a plan to get things. And the way you have long-term success is by playing well within your bankroll. Like I just said, I had $100,000 playing $200 buy-in tournaments, right? Absolutely unnecessarily large bankroll, and I just never wanted to go broke. Going broke is what's detrimental. I was very happy to not gamble big and not play big and whatnot. But anyway, if it's your dream to go play the World Series main event, go play it. Who cares? Gamble, right? What's my favorite trophy? I just told you, the one right back there. The one with the globe. You talk about donk leading. I don't do it. There you go. That's it. But yeah, if you that's the thing, right? You have to ask, how am I approaching poker? Someone I know every year wins about $10,000 locally playing in his regular tournaments, right? Grinds all year, wins about $10,000 like clockwork every year, takes all of it, goes to Vegas, plays a bunch of $1,000 and $1,500 buy-in World Series events. Sometimes he wins, sometimes he loses. I think one time he won like $25K and bought a new boat. Right? Like that's what he views poker as a way to go have fun, a way to pass the time, a way to win a little bit of money, and that's it. And he's not trying to become a pro. Doesn't want to become a pro. He just wants to play poker and have fun with his friends, right? And that's just how they operate. And that's okay. So if your goal is to go and have an experience and play the World Series, go do it. Just realize you're not going to have any or very little chance at long-term success, and that's okay. Because ACR are a good practice site. Most sites are good practice sites as long as you're playing for real money. Let's see. You tried using a shove or fold strategy, but the problem is you have a problem shoving with trash. Well, if you use a shove or fold strategy, you must follow the recommendations. What was said here? Do you have a book or blog on bankroll management? Yes, I have the Bankroll Bible. It's completely free. JonathanLittlePoker.com/bankroll. If you're compulsive at times, do you advise a close person to help for accountability? Yes. Don't be compulsive, though. If you know that you have a problem with like going to the casino and blowing all your money, then don't take any money with you. Take very little money. How do you prepare for long flights? Just get on the plane and go. I don't have to prepare for that kind of thing. I actually like flights because I'm not busy working the whole time. I never get internet on the flights. I usually download stuff on YouTube or take some books or sleep. I love airplane flights. I do not view them as strenuous. I view them as more of a, that's the vacation. How do I prepare for playing a lot of poker games? Again, I don't really have to prepare because I always stay in decent shape. I know how to play poker well, right? It's not like I have to thoroughly study or anything like that every time I go play. So fortunately, I've done this a very long time, and after you do something for a very long time, it's just, you can kind of roll out of bed and do it. That said, I mean, life is how you prepare for it. You don't do drugs, you don't go out and get drunk all the time, you eat well, you go to the gym, you study poker a lot when you're at home, etc., etc. But that's just like me doing that stuff all the time. All right, undergun limps, +1 limps, button completes, small blind completes. You make it $40 with tens. Maybe just check, depending on the opponents, with fine. Undergun +1 makes it 200. You jam, what would you do? I don't know, depends on the guy's strategy, right? This is where charts will fail you epically. What's the guy's range? If the range is only aces, then fold, right? On the river, how often does one have bluffs? It depends on their river strategy and their bet size. We discussed this thoroughly at pokercoaching.com in the homework challenges. What's too high of a rake to overcome? I don't know. Is 20% too high? Probably. What's my tip to control breathing? Learn to control your breathing all the time. I like the Wim Hof method, W-I-M-H-O-F. It's been very useful for me. Can let you hold your breath for a very long time, like 4 minutes. Believe it or not, I can hold my breath 4 minutes. If you fully oxygenate your body, it's not even a problem. But anyway, I don't really focus on that too much. I think that has to come from, or generally comes from being in good shape. But also, understand that sometimes you'll get excited, right? When you get excited, your breathing will change, your pulse will change. And you need to try to figure out a way not to get excited, which is why you have to just kind of be a little bit of a robot inside. Let's see. What's the advice when there's tiny stacks? I don't know. Depends on the scenario, right? Do you wear the aviators? Nope, no sunglasses. Sunglasses make the game not fun. They make the game serious, and I don't want to play a serious game. I want to play a fun, casual game. What's the best way to get good at cash games? Check out the Cash Game Masterclass as soon as it comes out at Poker Coaching Premium. We speak about No, look, we're not talking about thorough, in-depth poker strategy here. You can go check out pokercoaching.com for all that. How do you feel about PO Solver? It's great. You have to know how to input the information. If you don't know how to do that, though, you'll get very wrong outputs. Do we meditate? Not really. Big 50 was crazy. You got on with a set of jacks. Oh, yeah. Sometimes you're going to lose. All right. Let's see. Good. Let's go and check out Instagram now. Write a book on table dynamics. I don't know if I need a book on that. How should you contact me if you want to quickly make a deal to wear a poker coaching patch at the World Series final table? Support at pokercoaching.com. We have some patches available in Vegas. What's the difference between various players? People in Europe tend to play better than people in America. West Coast versus East Coast in America, like you're asking, is kind of a weird designation, because what is the West Coast and what is the East Coast, right? Like people in Washington State is going to play very different than people in Los Angeles. So it's not really just it's not a question of how does a specific region play. It's more of a question of how does each player type in that region play. In general, though, places with access to easy online poker, like access to play online poker very easily, those places tend to have better players across the board than places where they don't have access to online poker. When should you switch your play from exploited to GTO, or should you play both right from the beginning? You can't play both right from the beginning. You should play fundamentally sound until you know better. And very often, before you even play a hand, you will know better because you can tell by the way your opponent looks, the way they talk, the way they're behaving. All that stuff will give you a good indication of adjustments you should make before you even play a hand. Am I affiliated with Party Poker? I'm not affiliated with any poker site, but Party Poker does a great job. So, good for them. Party Poker has this neat thing coming out where basically they won in day 2 of some of their tournaments over the next year. Their live tournaments, you can play online. So day 1 and 2 you can play online, then go play already be in the money on day 3. It's kind of a neat idea. So that's going to allow a lot of people to get in online. In addition to the live tournament, you can play the live tournament live as well. So it's kind of a neat concept. You're individual. Stop putting people in boxes. Well, it depends on how big of a box you're putting them in. If you're putting them in little tiny boxes and there's a bunch of them, it's probably fine. But if you're trying to say people on the West Coast play like this, that's not how it works. If you're in day 2 that plays down to a final table, good luck. You might as well win some. Uh-oh, what just happened to Facebook? I think it's back. Okay. How many flips you need to win to make a final table? I don't know. I mean, look, questions like this do not matter. Because sometimes you have all the chips and you never have a flip. Sometimes you have no chips, you have all the flips. One of the World Poker Tour tournaments I won, that one right back over there, that trophy. I don't know if I was ever in a flip. I know at the final table I won a small flip against Mike Mattis out of Boston. We talked about that on his podcast the other day. But I don't think I was ever all in. I just had a big chip stack the whole time. This one over here, that weird circular thing, I had 8 big blinds at the end of the day. At the end of day 1, I lost a giant flip with, I think, ace-king suited against 10s to get down to 8 big blinds, and then I won every hand, which presumably means I won some flips. So it doesn't matter. You can't think of in terms like that. We have to think more of, am I playing well, right? Why no glasses? The reason I don't like glasses is because they make you seem like you care. If you seem like you care, that's going to make other people subconsciously or consciously think that they care too. And if I am having fun and being jovial, and my opponents are having fun and being jovial, I know I'm going to play way better poker being fun and jovial than other people. Because a lot of other people will just goof off and have fun, right? Which is perfect. If you're playing a private cash game, for example, and everybody's having drinks, you sure better be having drinks and having fun. If you're not part of the fun, you'll get invited back, but also you'll make the game more serious. And you want the game to be as absolutely casual as it can. And things like scarves, hoodies, sunglasses, headphones, these things all tell your opponents that you care or you're taking it seriously. And you don't want that. You don't want your opponents to know that you are taking it seriously, especially if they don't know you. When people see me, they know I'm going to be taking it seriously enough because I'm a professional poker player. If you're a not a well-known professional poker player, you definitely don't want to look serious. Because if you look serious, then they may realize you studied the game a little bit. And if anything, you want to look like an absolute tourist, someone who has no clue what they're doing. And that's going to do way better than wearing sunglasses. You say you think sunglasses make people think you're a nit? Oh no. You like being able to watch people and not know what they're looking at? Yeah, there are benefits to sunglasses, but I think that the downsides significantly outweigh the benefits. Significantly. I used to wear sunglasses all the time before I realized that I don't want my opponents playing well and being serious. I want my opponents making big mistakes. What are my takes on live tells? Live tells are great. Sure better study them. The reason I made that big fold, one of the reasons I made the big fold at the World Poker Tour Tournament Champions was because of live tells. Actually, I did a webinar with Fedor Holtz shortly after it, and he actually mentioned the exact tell. That webinar will be available in Poker Coaching Premium whenever that comes out, so I'm excited for that. But he actually mentioned the exact tell, which was essentially, if you look at someone long enough, their pulse will go from beating quickly when they're excited, and if it chills out, it means that very often they have a good hand. And that's exactly what I witnessed in my opponent, which is maybe right, maybe wrong, I don't know, but I went with it. It added a little bit of merit to the folding. Let's see. Good morning, welcome back. Thank you. We'll be here for only 2 weeks, and we're back to Vegas. I'm actually not going to be here Wednesday, because I have to take James to the doctor. James and Thomas have their regular checkup. Do you recommend glasses for novice players? I recommend learning to control yourself. I'm not a big fan of Band-Aids. Like the push-fold charts, for example. If you're playing 20 big blinds deep, it's a Band-Aid. It's going to teach you to play, maybe better than you would play if you were terrible, but I'd rather just teach you to play well. Same thing with tells. I'd rather just teach you to conceal your tells than just spew them all over the place. Is playing blind versus blind the same when you're heads up? Compared to what? Also depends on position, right? If you're playing heads up, the player in position is the small blind. If you're playing nine-handed, the player in position is the big blind. So that's very different. Very, very, very different. What is mistakes the losing players make? All of them. This is only an hour. Yeah, this is only an hour-long podcast. Or podcast, show, what is this? Is this a show? Is it a podcast? I don't know. Let's see. Can you play a tournament with only one bullet as opposed if it's a re-entry tournament? Yeah, sure. You have to understand, every time you play anytime you play a tournament with a, what am I trying to say? I'm reading someone silly. Does he even read the Twitch chat? Yes, hello. We have a chat aggregator here. I read all the chat. Okay, anytime you go to play a tournament, if it's a re-entry, every single time you buy in, it is as if you are buying one entry, right? You're re-entering. It's a new tournament, a new individual event. And then whenever it's a new individual event, you can play on one buy-in. It doesn't make a difference. Even if it's a rebuy, it doesn't make a difference. You may say, well, yeah, my opponents are playing every hand and it's tough on me. It's not tough on you. Just realize your opponents are going to be way more likely to win the tournament than you in exchange for paying way more money, right? That's fine. It's perfectly fine. Wouldn't taking notes cause the same effect as wearing glasses? To some extent, but I don't think quite as much. I would generally suggest most people take their notes on a phone, perhaps, if they are concerned with that. Do whatever works for you, right? Make the game not be serious. But yes, I do agree that ordering a green tea may make the game serious. You have to ask how far are we willing to take it. But I can tell you, wearing sunglasses and headphones not talking to anybody is not good. And I think you're going to find most people who wear sunglasses and headphones don't talk to people. And even when they do talk to people, it's a little bit awkward compared to when they are not wearing these things. When studying, do I recommend staying on one topic? Yeah, generally I think you should stay on one topic for a little bit and learn that topic well. At what point should you not rebuy? When you no longer have an edge. When you no longer have an edge, it's up to you to find out. When you first started playing, you'd go into the casino with different outfits. Okay, sure. Is there a poker keyboard app for iOS? I don't really know what that even means. If there's not, make one. Is it advisable to rebuy no matter what position one is in the tournament? No, absolutely not. Think about it. I mean, look, every time you're buying into a new tournament with a new set of blinds, a new structure, etc., right? So would you buy in to a 15 big blind tournament? Well, the answer is no if there's rake, because you're not going to have much of an edge. You may have 5% ROI or 10% ROI. If the rake's 20%, you have 10% ROI in this new tournament with 15 big blinds, because that's what you have, then you should not play. You're all going off on Instagram today. Hello, hello. If it's a serious event like a World Series, should you wear your sunglasses then? No. Not in my opinion. The only time you should really be covering up is when everyone else is taking it very, very seriously. What software can you use to study marginal spots? Check out PokerCoaching.com's homework challenge, or PokerCoaching.com's homework and quizzes. That's going to go a long way to helping you. How much studying is compared to playing depends on if you're good or not already, right? If you're already good, you don't need to do as much studying as if you're bad. If you're bad, you shouldn't be playing much at all. Whenever I first started playing poker, I did not play much at all. I just bought every book I could. Back then they didn't have the good websites like they have now. And I read every book I could before I even played, because I realized you need to get good before you play, because if you're playing and you're bad, you're just throwing your money in the trash. Now you may say, don't we need to get some experience playing? Yeah, sure. I think it's fine. But I think a lot of people drastically overestimate that, because getting experience playing poorly is not all that useful. Any more competitions coming up to win memberships of Poker Coaching? Yes, we're giving away 3 times 1% of my World Series of Poker main event coming up in the very, very near future. So look out for that. That'll also include Poker Coaching memberships. Do you recommend Mental Game of Poker? Sure. Jared Tendler's work is very good. The quizzes are a game changer. That's what we're trying to do. The way I made Poker Coaching is I thought, what kind of quiz site would I like to, or what kind of site would I like to have? How do I like to learn? I like to get in there, hear the thoughts of other good people in real time on real situations, which is what the quizzes do. I like being able to go back quickly and try it again in case I mess something up or don't hear something, right? That's what the quizzes do. And I also like digging deep in specific spots, which is what the homework challenges do. And I also like just hearing the best players in the world talk, and that's what the webinars do. So I made the site that I want. And That's how a lot of good products are designed. Make what you want. And if people are like you, they will want the same thing, and then it becomes a success. And if they don't want it, who cares? Now I have something that I want. Let's see. Sub says, a Japanese saying, true victory is victory over oneself. Indeed. When did you know I could be a poker pro? Any one moment or tournament? I knew I could be a poker pro after I turned $50 into $200,000 or $350,000 without ever playing a buy-in higher than $200. That's how I knew I could be a pro. Yes, there is a poker keyboard app, someone's saying. Good. Good. But yeah, Rylan, you mentioned good ideas like, essentially, whenever you do anything at the table, it triggers people to think you care or you don't care. Right? If I sit down at the table and order a cup of coffee and that's it, and I pay attention and don't talk to anyone and focus on all the action, that's probably going to trigger I care a lot. If I show up and order 4 Heinekens and I'm talking to my friends at the table behind me the whole time, it's going to trigger I probably don't care all that much, right? And that kind of thing is relevant. And especially if you are not known in the poker world, you definitely don't want to do things that make you seem more serious than you are, unless you know very specifically what image that's going to give your opponents. If you know that something is going to make your opponents think that you're very tight, let's say, then that could be fine. That said, I don't think sunglasses trigger tightness necessarily. They trigger seriousness. And what does seriousness mean, right? That's the hard thing to actually nail down, because seriousness could mean just weak, tight, passive ABC. If you're playing ABC poker where you're just playing good cards, you're not playing well. Or it could trigger, this person's going to play good, fundamentally sound GTO. Or it could trigger, this player's going to be a maniac. I mean, I don't know. You never know what it's going to trigger. If you're, it also depends on what your general demeanor is. If you're a younger person, people are going to think you're more loose and aggressive. If you're an older person, people are probably going to think you're a little bit more tight and passive, right? It just depends a lot on the exact scenario. But in general, I think you want to do things that trigger casualness, because that's really the only thing you can actually make your opponents aware of. So in general. First, I take away your card protector. Now you have to get rid of your glasses. Listen, if you are addicted to the glasses, if you require the glasses, I would tell you not to get rid of them, at least in the short term. I started getting rid of them in smaller stakes tournaments, and now I don't even take them with me. I used to take them with me in case we had Phil Ivey on my right or something like that. But even then, it's okay. And kind of like you said, the sunglasses are more for their benefit than mine, so that I can tell I can look at whatever I want. But even then, just learn to look without actually staring, right? You don't understand what you're saying in regards to being serious at the table. Once you said the serious players are likely to succeed, should you not be taking notes at the table? No, Gregory, look, you need to learn to be serious without appearing serious. I'm not telling you to go to the table and order a beer and down it in 4 seconds and order another one. I'm telling you to have fun, enjoy the experience, and take the poker seriously when you're playing a hand without actually looking like you care about it with all your heart, right? You want to make people think you don't care all that much. And yeah, L nailed it down here, L Eddie boy. I'm talking about image, right? I'm not talking about don't take poker seriously. I'm talking about the image, right? Should you focus on one game or multiple? Definitely one, in my opinion, until you get really good at it. If you're not good at one game, then find a different game. How would you play your last 2 buy-ins? I would play 50 times smaller and have 100 buy-ins. That is the right answer to that question pretty much every time. Go check out jonathanlittlepoker.com/bankroll, and you will see. But yeah, if you're down to 2 buy-ins, first off, you shouldn't have gotten down to 2 buy-ins. You should have chopped it up way earlier. But if you did not chop it up way earlier, well, here we are. Move way down. Move way down. Spend your time studying. Because if you lost almost all of your bankroll, presuming you started with 98 buy-in bankroll or something, it's a problem. Am I playing the main event? Of course I am. I'm going back on June 30th to the World Series. We're playing a $5,000 tournament on the 1st, the main event on the 4th, and then whatever else there is till at the end of the series. Do you recommend play money for beginning players? No, I recommend putting something like $50 into an online site and playing for real, realizing you may or may not be able to cash that money out because, those sites may go down on you at any point, assuming you're playing on the unregulated sites. How many hours is adequate to go back and review your results? You want to stay on top of improvement. We don't want to get caught up in tunnel vision with a couple of good sessions. I mean, your good sessions are not really that relevant. Your losing sessions are the relevant ones. You want to be looking at how you're losing the money. The losing of money is very, very indicative of a bad thing happening in your game, whereas the winning is not necessarily. So definitely don't go back and review your... I mean, definitely don't ignore your bad sessions. But I mean, I review a lot of my hands. I review lots of games, I review lots of hands, and I think that's very vital. What's wrong with a card protector? Google Jonathan Little card protector. You say you started using it whenever you didn't protect your hand very well. Well, protect your hand, right? Learn to protect your hand. Google Jonathan Little card protector, you'll find it. What did you use? I'm not sure what you're asking, Ibrahim. British poker players want to go to the US. Are there any times a year that are best to play live poker? The World Series of Poker. What should your bankroll be to play 1-3? Read jonathanlittlepoker.com/bankroll. If you have a big downswing, what should you do? You should realize that nothing changed besides your bankroll is now shorter. And now you have more results that indicate skill level, right? If you now have lots and lots of results that indicate you may or may not be a good player, then understand that. Take those results and use them to better yourself. If you are on a downswing, you should be spending a lot of time studying, a lot of time analyzing your poker skills. And do not blindly think I'm great, because you're probably not. Any books on life? What are 3 non-poker books? I don't know. This is a good one. It's called The Daily Stoic. I don't read it every day, but I read it lots of days. Basically, it's just like a page every day. Go through and read something. Let's see what I highlighted here. We begin our journey into philosophy when we have become aware of the ability to analyze our own minds. Appreciate and take advantage of what you already do have, and let that attitude guide your actions. Stuff like this. Stoicism is a good book. Daily Stoic. I like this one. This is a big book. The 4-Hour Chef. It'll teach you to cook and also teach you how to learn. Let's do this one. The 4-Hour Workweek teaches you how to get stuff done. This book, by the way, is why I'm here for all of you. Thanks to Tim Ferriss for writing that book. If he did not write that book, I would not be here doing a little coffee and everything else I do for all of you on a very regular basis. Have I read all these random books? Probably not. I don't read a ton of books. What are my thoughts on Ignition? That's the one where the players are anonymous. Sure, go play. Do whatever you want. You're jealous of my proximity to casinos. I live in New York City. There are no casinos here. Mark says, you used to always put a chip on your cards to protect your hand. Does that cause the same issues as a dedicated card protector? Well, Mark, go Google Jonathan Little Card Protector and tell me what you think. You'll find it probably does. Do you used to meditate or do something specific before a session? I listened to the Prime Mind app. Actually, I have a personalized one that Elliot Rowe made me. Essentially, it's a mindset MP3 that gets you in the zone. I also listen to those on break. There's a 5-minute break maximizer. It's useful. I think it's useful. It definitely chills you out and does that. Can I stake you online? If you want to stake me in $10,000 buy-in online tournaments, sure. $10,000 buy-in in higher live online tournaments, $10,000 buy-in in live, $10,000 buy-in and bigger online tournaments. Sure, you can stake me all you'd like. Poker Razor, good morning, hello. Now that Poker Razor's here, I think it's time to go. Are these guys serious with these questions? Some of them are. I actually think most of them are. We have a very good group of people here. A lot of people on the internet attract people who want to tear others down, and people who want to goof off, and people who want to do nonsense. And we're not about nonsense. Nonsense is irrelevant and a waste of everyone's time. And our goal here is to help everyone improve their life, myself included. You have to understand, I don't do this all just for you. I do this to help me. Every morning when I do these, I am kind of like betting ideas for the rest of the day, right? Like I already knew I was going to make a video on when not to use charts, and a few other ideas popped into my mind while we were talking about that. And that kind of thing is very useful. It's very, very relevant to get your thoughts out there, to talk to people. Because you have to understand, I sit in this office most of the day and don't really do a whole lot of talking to people. So it's very useful to talk to people and bounce ideas off of them. Get ideas, share ideas, learn together, etc., etc. Ron says he logged in late. Well, you logged in about too late. We're almost done. How's the poker coaching breakfast? It was great. I think we had about 30 people show up. I showed it a little bit in the video blog. You can find that at jonathanlittlepoker.com/YouTube. We just posted the video blog recently. So there it is. We block all trolls, right? Yes, you block all the trolls. To be fair, there's not very many trolls, so that's good. Do you ever see myself giving up poker? I don't really know what, I mean, like, why would I quit? I don't have a poker playing problem or anything. I'm sure there will be a day where I do not play poker anymore because I will die. Or I'll get too old, or whatever. I don't foresee a day where I'm like, oh, I'm never doing this again. So no. Well, other players, if players at the table are playing very quickly, do you slow down? No, I play very fast. I play faster than almost everyone. How do you minimize tilt? Don't be emotionally involved. Get your emotions out of there. There's no room for emotions in poker. I said that the other day, and someone's like, oh, but emotions are real. You have to account for them. I was like, yeah, but you have to understand that just because you have an emotion does not mean it should affect you. Maybe this is where stuff like meditation comes in, where you realize, hey, I'm angry right now. Why are you angry? Relax. Relax, sir. Relax. And realize that just because you're angry does not mean you all of a sudden need to start playing poorly. Did I notice more donk bets at the World Series? No, I didn't notice donk bets much at all. We'll be playing at Doyle's age. I'm probably going to be long gone by the time I'm Doyle's age. So yeah, I think we're done. We have to go. Instagram's telling me it's time to pack it up. I will not be here Wednesday. Wednesday I have to take James and Thomas to the doctor for their regular checkup. So sorry about that. How often do we do this? We do this Monday, Wednesday, Friday when I'm not playing a tournament series at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. 9 a.m. Eastern Time. And all these are recorded, by the way. Again, you can find them at jonathanlittlepoker.com/YouTube. And you'll find them there. 2-color deck or 4-color deck? I mean, 4-color online all the time, but live I think it needs to be 2-color. Because when it's 4-color and cards flash, you can actually tell what they are. Whereas if it's 2-color, you can't tell what they are nearly as much. Grips, welcome. How about a little coffee? Well, you see, the green tea's empty. This week's going to be a low-calorie week. We're going to be having lots and lots of vegetable broth, lots and lots of tea. Actually, probably not a lot of tea, just a little bit. So we're taking it easy. So that's going to be it for today. Good luck in your games. Have fun. Enjoy yourselves. If you have any questions, feel free to ask on Twitter at Jonathan Little or email them to support@pokercoaching.com, and we are always happy to help. We want you to be the best version of you. All right, good luck. Have fun.